Hey everybody, so in the last video I made, I showed you guys how to take your flimsy tissue paper pattern pieces and turn them into something a little bit more durable and reusable like this using interfacing backing. The next step to creating a garment when you're sewing would be to create a toile, which is what I have here. I'm going to be starting a new project. This is a jacket that I'm working on. I'm working on this pattern. It's actually Butterick 5962. It's a Dior inspired bar suit, and I've never worked with this pattern before. So I'm creating a mock-up toile. This is sometimes called a muslin mock-up because the material we're going to be using is muslin. It's usually like an unbleached cotton. It's spelled M-U-S-L-I-N, and it comes in light, medium, and heavyweight versions that you should be able to buy around $3 to $5 at your fabric store. I don't want to make any mistakes on my final piece on the fabric that I'll be using in the end. I don't want to create this out of the final material and mess something up or make a cut wrong or it be the wrong size. So when you're creating a toile, you can basically make a very cheaper version of the mock-up that you're making and work out a lot of the kinks in this first version, get the correct size in this first version before you start cutting into your actual material. So if you're just doing a basic jersey dress with 2 seams down the side and it's going to be stretch material, it's going to be a forgiving project and you're not going to need to maybe like practice that. So in that case, you might not need to make a toile. But in this case, I've never worked with this pattern and I don't do jackets as often. So in this case, I did decide to do a toile. So I will bring you guys in a little bit closer so you can see the first step of creating your toile. I'll show you how I transfer all my markings and everything from my pattern piece onto my muslin. Cool, so I've brought you guys in closer now so you can see kind of the process that I take. So I have my pattern piece here and I'm getting ready to create the mock-up toile. So my first step would be to either take tracing paper, or in this case, because I'm out of tracing paper, this is the same freezer paper that I used in the last video. And I'm just going to lay that over top of the pattern piece. So I would mark out the size that I need, which is a size 14 for this underarm seam. I've already gone ahead and done that just to save time. So this is the piece that I need to tell me what size I'm going to be cutting out of my muslin material. If there were any markings, like a dart say, on my pattern, I need to make sure that I transfer all of those onto this piece as well, because I don't have a dart on this piece. I am good to go. So next I can take this freezer paper or tracing paper and I can lay out my muslin material here. And I would pin that down and go ahead and cut around it, or you can just trace around the shape that you need. Again, making sure that if there's a dart or any kind of marking that you need to make sure is going to be on that muslin material for you to practice this garment, you need to make sure you either take a pin, wherever maybe the dot or the mark is, you can kind of poke it through. That's how I do it. Come to the back and put a mark there and transfer any markings from this onto your muslin. So again, I've already cut it fast forward just to save time here. And you can see that this is the muslin piece in the correct size. It has all the correct notches that I need. And so this is ready to be sewn into my muslin mock-up. So I'm gonna put all the pieces together and we'll go from there. Cool, so really quickly, I'm just gonna show you that I am constructing the garment as if you would, following any directions that are on the pattern instructions. Just make sure you follow and create the garment exactly as you would if this were the actual material, but we're just doing the mock-up right now. So this pattern has already added my 5/8 seam allowance. So I am just matching up the side of my pattern, or yeah, it's my mock-up pattern pieces. I'm just lining those up with my 5/8 seam allowance, and I am just going to quickly I'll do that with the entire garment. So now that I have completely constructed my muslin toile, I can make any adjustments In this case, I would normally turn her inside out and kind of go through and start pinning, taking in, making any markings that I might need, making those on this copy, on the mock-up, so that when I go to make the final garment, I know that this part needs to be taken, this part needs to be changed. In this case, I want the sleeves to be longer. The sleeve is a little bit short for me, so I can either make a new mock-up sleeve, or in this case, I'm just gonna mark on my sleeve to remind me later to when I'm actually cutting on my expensive material to make it a little bit longer so that I have a longer sleeve. You may notice that I didn't put on the second sleeve in this mock-up. If your pattern is completely symmetrical, it's going to be the same on this side as it is on this side. You technically can get away with just making one half of the garment. Just in the end, in the final product, when you're cutting your actual material, obviously make sure that you have two of everything and everything is symmetrical. I hope this video is helpful. I would highly suggest if you're working with a new pattern to seriously create a toile just so that you can work out the kinks and get used to how everything goes together and make any mistakes beforehand. If you like this video, please thumbs up. Recording these videos and editing them is actually a lot more work than they look, so please like this video. Leave comments if you have questions. You can also find me on Instagram if you need any more questions answered. I'm going to be at Dakota, just like the state, _green, just like the color, NYC, just like New York City. And be sure to subscribe because I'm going to have more videos like this coming up. Happy sewing!